About the very disruptive demonstrations, another issue which has been clogging up all of our email boxes. So another bit of role play. I have formed a new group called Just Stop Oil. And together with other members of the committee, we are gluing ourselves to the highway outside the driveway of the organiser of Just Stop Oil. What will happen to me?
Well, if you are... in an ideal world, I have to just say...
No, not in an ideal world. What will happen to me now? I am glued to the pavement.
Well, the police will attend, and the police have been investing huge amounts of police time, effort and resource into policing protests to the tune of tens of millions of pounds, thousands of police hours. So they will attend, and they will attend as swiftly as possible. They will then assess what you're doing and look at you, and they will assess whether they consider that there is a reasonable basis for an arrest, whether that's obstruction of the highway, whether that is criminal damage, whether that's any other legal offence that they can identify. And if they do so, then they will arrest you.
How long should that take?
Listen, it varies depending on the circumstances. When we saw the people hanging from the gantries, that was taking hours.
Okay, I'm glued
because
to
it's
the
very
pavement.
hard to remove people
How long
from
should it
gantries.
take?
I'm not a frontline professional.
Okay.
I don't want to put
Why
time on
is
it.
it you understand the complete frustration of our constituents, unable to go about their daily business through no fault of their own, and why the public are taking the law into their own hands and removing some of these people, with the police standing by telling them not to, and in some cases arresting members of the public. Under Section 137 of the Highways Act, it is an offence if a person without lawful authority or excuse in any way wilfully obstructs the free passage along a highway. Under Section 11 of the Public Order Act 1986, against protests, if a protest is to intimidate others and compel them not to do something that they have the right to do or not do something that they have the right not to so do. Those are two very clear existing parts of the law that should make it very easy for an attending police officer very swiftly to remove people who are obstructing the highway and intimidating people trying to go about their lawful business. Why are the police taking ages to intervene and people's lives are being disrupted?
Well, I think there is guidance which has been issued by the College of... So I've taken a real interest in the problem that you're highlighting, and I do have some concerns. I think on the whole the police have been very robust and done, acted very admirably in the circumstances, and I back
Why have they
them.
acted
But what I
admirably?
well, they have. When it comes to Just Stop Oil, since April of 2022, they've arrested 1,700 people. They've arrested on the M25 protests in the beginning of November. They arrested 64 people.
Between
the first on the month of October, the Met Police alone arrested 677 people.
The
there are
point
many
is
examples.
how long it takes before their disruption is removed, and how many of them are actually in jail receiving a meaningful and proportionate penalty for the very substantial disruption that they've been committing. Are you happy with the College of Policing's 5-step appeal guidance, which is a simple appeal to ask the person to comply, a reasoned appeal, a personal appeal, the 4th stage is a final appeal, and then eventually action? It's a nonsense, isn't it? We know what they are doing, and they are getting the extended publicity from doing it, and then they're getting little more than a slap on the wrist, and as we've seen in the Van Gogh protesters, one of them even only a suspended sentence. It's making a mockery of the government's claim to be the party and the government of law and order, isn't it, whilst this is going on?
Well, I have looked at the College of Policing guidance on protests, and I have some questions about it, and I am going to be speaking to the College of Policing. I want to look and ensure that the police are following a robust guidance, and that is a live question for me in the Home Office.
Okay.
I would also say, there was a recent case of Ziegler, and we saw some of the cases relating to protests, like the Colston statute case, which I referred as Attorney General to the Court of Appeal on this very issue, on the legal framework. There are human rights considerations.
Okay, perhaps you could
and that is the legal framework within which we are working.
If you could write to us with anything else you want to tell us.